Hannibal Barca was one of the greatest military leaders in history. He was a general from Carthage, an ancient city in North Africa, and he lived around 247 to 183 BC. His biggest claim to fame was leading Carthage in the Second Punic War against Rome. Hannibal is most famous for taking an army over the Alps to attack Rome from the north. No one expected him to do this because it was a super difficult and dangerous journey. But he pulled it off, surprising the Romans and winning many battles. Hannibal's greatest victory was the Battle of Cannae, fought on August 2nd, 216 BC during the Second Punic War. It is considered one of the most brilliant military victories in history. Here's what happened. Rome had suffered losses against Hannibal, but was determined to defeat him. After previous defeats, the Romans put together a massive army, about 86,000 soldiers, one of the biggest they had ever assembled. Their goal was to crush Hannibal once and for all. Hannibal, on the other hand, had only about 50,000 troops, including his mix of Carthaginian soldiers, Spanish warriors, North African cavalry, and Gallic fighters from modern-day France. Despite being outnumbered, he had a genius plan. Instead of fighting in a straight line, as the Romans expected, Hannibal arranged his troops in a special way. He placed his weaker troops in the middle, and his stronger, more experienced soldiers on the sides. His army was shaped like a bow, with a center pushed slightly forward. His best cavalry was placed on both sides to take out the Roman horsemen. The Romans attacked Hannibal's center, thinking they could break through easily. At first, it seemed like they were winning as they pushed his forces backward. But this was exactly what Hannibal wanted. As the Romans pushed forward, his curved formation turned into a trap. His strong cavalry destroyed the Roman cavalry on the sides, and then attacked the Roman infantry from behind. Meanwhile, the strong Carthaginian troops on the sides closed in from the left and right. The Roman army was completely surrounded, trapped with no escape. Hannibal's men kept pushing in tighter and tighter, squeezing the Romans into a smaller space, where they couldn't even swing their swords properly. The slaughter was horrific. Up to 70,000 Romans were killed in a single day, including most of their commanders. It was one of the worst defeats in Roman history. Only a few thousand Romans managed to escape. Rome was in shock. They had never lost so many soldiers in one battle. Many of Rome's allies started questioning whether they should stay loyal to Rome or join Hannibal. However, despite this massive victory, Hannibal didn't march directly on Rome itself, possibly because he lacked enough reinforcements. After the disaster at Cannae, Rome changed its approach. Instead of fighting Hannibal in open battles, they switched to a defensive strategy led by the Roman general Fabius Maximus. This strategy, called the Fabian strategy, involved avoiding direct battles with Hannibal, harassing his army with small attacks, cutting off his supplies and preventing him from getting reinforcements. Hannibal was stuck in Italy for years, winning battles, but slowly losing strength because Rome refused to fight on his terms. While Hannibal was stuck in Italy, Rome attacked Spain, where Carthage had important resources and reinforcements. The Roman general Scipio Africanus led the attack, capturing key cities like New Carthage, 209 BC. This was a huge loss for Hannibal, because Spain was where he got most of his soldiers and supplies. By 203 BC, after more than 15 years in Italy, Hannibal was forced to leave. Rome had pushed Carthage out of Spain, attacked Carthage directly in North Africa, forced Hannibal to return home to defend Carthage. Even though Hannibal had never lost a battle in Italy, he had no choice but to abandon his dream of conquering Rome. Back in North Africa, Hannibal faced Scipio Africanus, who had learned from Hannibal's own tactics. Hannibal had about 50,000 men, but many were inexperienced. Scipio had around 40,000 highly trained Roman troops. At the Battle of Zama, Scipio outmaneuvered Hannibal. He neutralized Hannibal's elephants by creating gaps in his ranks, letting them pass harmlessly. He used superior cavalry to flank and surround Hannibal's forces, similar to what Hannibal had done at Cannae. Hannibal's army was crushed, and Carthage was forced to surrender. After the war, Hannibal was not executed, but he lost his power in Carthage. He later went into exile, moving around different kingdoms, trying to help enemies of Rome. Rome never forgot about him and kept hunting him down. In 183 BC, Hannibal was finally cornered by Roman agents in modern-day Turkey. Rather than be captured, he took poison and died, reportedly saying, "Let us free Rome from their fears by the death of an old man." Even though Hannibal lost, his battles and strategies are still studied today. He is remembered as one of the greatest military minds of all time.